you.
Good evening.
Ah, Monsieur Howard.
Madame. 2. One for me and one for you for supper.
Ah, Monsieur, what an accomplishment. 2, they look beautiful.
Well, they're not very large, I'm afraid, but you'd be surprised at the fight they gave me.
Father caught 5. Oh, but Monsieur Casanova is a young man. You must be tired, Monsieur. Would you like to have something now?
Yes, I think I have a small blonde.
Très bien, Monsieur. That always helps.
Mr. Howard, will you help me with my lesson?
Well, is that regarded as ethical?
Well, that's quite all right, Mr. Howard. Everyone knows she cheats. I have to name 5 states in the United States, and the only one I can think of is Texas.
Texas, eh? Well, let's see now. There's Texas, and then there's, oh, well, there's California.
That's right. California.
And then there's, Virginia. Virginian cigarettes, you know?
Gin. Yeah.
And there's, there's Florida.
Florida.
And then there's, there's Rochester.
Rochester. Rochester isn't a state.
Then may I ask what it is?
Rochester's a city. Mr. Howard says it's a state.
It may very well be a city. I don't deny that. I only contend that it is also a state. A state somewhat north, a bit to the northeast of the New England colony.
Voilà, Monsieur. La demi-blonde.
Ah, thank you, madame.
But it isn't, sir. It's a city. A city in the state of New York, that's all.
Did anyone ask you?
No, sir.
Then you will be doing me a great favor by keeping your irresponsible conjectures to yourself.
Yes, sir.
And if you don't mind, will you unwind that thing? Rochester, as I recall it, is largely an industrial state, although I believe it does grow quite a considerable crop of maize.
Dad, is Rochester in the United States a city or a state?
Rochester's a city, of course. We ought to be able to get some English news now if Jerry hasn't jammed it.
Have you any corroboration for that statement beyond your bare, unsupported word?
I beg your pardon?
You made the categorical statement that Rochester, USA, is not a state in the American Union. Have you anything to support that assertion, or is it merely your opinion?
I'm afraid I don't understand, sir.
Well, Mr. Howard told Sheila that Rochester's a state, and it isn't.
Well, I must admit that I've never heard the question raised before.
Well, then what would you say, sir, if I informed you that I myself have visited the state of Rochester?
Well, in that case, sir, naturally, I would be compelled to...
Where could they have been this way?
I don't know. I don't understand it.
They're Hankels, all right. You can tell by the motors.
Do you know why they should be over this part of the country?
Madam, I haven't the faintest idea. And in the future, you will greatly oblige me if you will make your inquiries of someone who perhaps relishes contradiction and bickering.
Sir?
But the fighting's all up that way in Belgium. Why should German planes...
Unless things are worse than we've heard.
This is the Overseas Service of the British Broadcasting Corporation, London calling. It would be idle to deny that Britain today faces a dark hour. The evacuation of our forces from Dunkirk has been completed, but at a cost that would be difficult to overestimate. Moreover, the enemy continues to advance. More channel ports, French as well as Belgian, are now under German occupation. And under such circumstances, we must be prepared to face any eventuality, even invasion. But in this hour of darkness, let Englishmen, wherever they may be, in whatever lands beyond the sea, hear again the recorded words of the Prime Minister before the House of Commons this morning, and be of good heart.
We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on beaches, landing grounds, in fields, in streets, and on the hills. We shall never surrender. And even if, which I do not for the moment believe, this island, or a large part of it, were subjugated and starving, then our empire beyond the seas, armed and guarded by the British fleet, will carry on the struggle until, in God's good time, the new world, with all its power and might, sets forth to the liberation and rescue of the old.
God save our gracious King, long live our noble King, God save the King. Send him victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us, God save the
We are well out of it, monsieur. Let them have their war if they want it. Let them die for whatever it is they are fighting for. You can see for yourself it was a great mistake for us to try to fight Hitler. He's too strong. Yeah, we should have made terms with him when we had the chance. Meanwhile, we here, we're pretty lucky. They'll never fight here this far south. And for you and me at our age, that's a very comforting thought.
Are you finished?
Oui, monsieur.
Then allow me to inform you, sir, that if ever again you address one word to me in any way, shape, or form, I shall take the greatest of pleasure in thrashing you within an inch of your life, regardless of your age. There's a train for Paris at 9 o'clock, isn't there?
Yes, monsieur.
I shall be taking it. Please arrange with the station master for my reservations to London, by way of Paris and Saint-Malo.
But, monsieur, you've been only here 3 days.
3 days, of which I am heartily ashamed.
Mr. Howard.
Yes?
I can assure you that no one believes for 1 second that you're here for, well, any but the best of reasons.
No. I am here because I'm a selfish, pig-headed old man. I offered my services to every department of the government in London. I'm not without experience, understand. I have served my country in positions of some responsibility. But this time, I wasn't wanted. I was too old. In all of London, I was taken seriously by but one man, my vicar. He suggested to me that I knit for the soldiers. I'm afraid that I took some exception to his well-meant suggestion, poor dear fellow. But to run away like a sulky child was wrong. And I'm deeply ashamed of myself.
But that's not my point, sir. As you say yourself, you're not young.
There is no other point. Young or old, an Englishman's place at a time like this is in England. And if the trains are running, I shall be there in 18 hours. To knit. Come in. Oh, good evening. Won't you sit down?
No, thank you. Mr. Howard, do you know what my husband does?
Well, I can't say that I do.
He's an official of the League of Nations at Geneva. And in Geneva, they think that Switzerland is very likely to be invaded next.
Do they really?
That's where we're going tonight. Back to Geneva.
Well, is that very wise if there's danger there?
That's not the point. That happens to be his post of duty.
I see.
But if Hitler does come, there won't be much food, I'm afraid. There never is under him.
Filthy little gas knife.
Myself, I'm not afraid, nor my husband. It's the children we're thinking of.
Well, hasn't he sort of sending you and them somewhere where you'd be safe?
I wouldn't leave him. If anything happened, we'd want to be together when it happened.
Of course.
But the children... Mr. Howard, would you take them with you back to England?
Do what?
We're so afraid, and it would only be to Plymouth. My sister would meet you there with a car. Oh, I know it's asking an awful lot, but it...
Do you mean that boy, too?
Please, he didn't mean to be rude. He's really a very good child.
Oh, I dare say he is after a fashion. But I must say...
He'll behave, I promise you. He'll do everything you say. You know Sheila. She'd be no trouble whatever.
Sheila, I've met, seems to be a very decent sort. A bit on the brainy side, perhaps, but on the whole, a decent enough child. The boy. It was never a matter of whether Rochester is a state or is not a state. That's a question for the authorities to decide. It was his stubborn, dogmatic attitude.
I'm sorry.
Naturally, I couldn't expect parliamentary rules from a child, but... Just a minute. Where are you going?
It was really too much to ask. I apologize for bothering.
Oh, there's no need for flying off the handle, you know.
I have no reproaches whatever, I assure you.
I know it. These children, are they capable of clothing and unclothing themselves?
Why, yes.
And, attending to themselves in the, well, the conventional emergencies?
But of course. You really mean that...
Mrs. Cavanaugh, under the circumstances, there could be but one answer to your request.
Oh.
So please.
This is very, very kind of you.
Not at all, please.
I'll have them ready in 5 minutes. Bless you. Bless you.
Good heavens. 18 hours.
Now give Mother a big hug. Goodbye, my precious.
Goodbye, Mommy.
Now, take good care of Sheila, and remember that you're the man now.
I will, sir.
We'll be together again soon, I'm sure.
Of course we will, sir.
Goodbye, darling.
Goodbye.
Oh, what a hug.
Did I hurt you?
No, darling, you're just so strong.
May I sit next to the window?
You may, you both may.
I've telegraphed their aunt. It's hard to say how much we both appreciate this.
Not at all. Under the circumstances, I'm sure we'll all get along together famously.
Now, don't forget, pay close attention to Mr. Howard and do everything he says promptly.
We will, Mommy.
Take good care of them. God bless you.
No, dear. Don't worry, please. We'll be quite all right, I'm sure.
Goodbye, my darling.
Goodbye, Ronnie.
Bye, Mommy. Goodbye.
No, girl. No.
And will we sleep on the train?
I expect so.
She won't.
What do you mean? Why won't she?
Because she always gets sick on the train. Sick right on the floor. I don't either.
Well, has no one here ever seen a child sick before? Go ahead, Sheila. Do it again.
What did I tell you?
Tout le monde descend, le train ne va pas plus loin.
What'd that chap say?
He says we've got to get off. The train doesn't go any further.
It's impossible. My tickets distinctly read Paris and Saint-Malo.
Tout le monde descend, le train ne va pas plus loin.
But why?
Military orders, monsieur.
Very well.
Allez, tout le monde descend.
Send me a couple of porters.
Porters? Non, mais comment vous trouvez ça? Il veut des porteurs. Des porteurs? Ne vous embêtez pas, non, monsieur. Faites attention, dégagez l'équipe, s'il vous plaît. Tout le monde se rend à la salle d'attente avec nos bagages, s'il vous plaît.
Look out! I have a sick child here. Get out of the way. Hurry up.
On est dans un militaire. Messieurs les voyageurs, s'il vous plaît, débarrassez-vous, allez dans la salle détente là-bas, dans la salle d'attente avec vos bagages, monsieur. Il n'y a rien à faire. Dégagez les trucs, s'il vous plaît. Les trains ne vont pas plus loin. Entre militaires.
Now, my dear, everything's going to be quite all right.
What do you think's happened, Mr. Howard?
Oh, nothing at all, probably. You know how tiresome these foreigners are.
Messieurs les voyageurs sont priés de se rendre dans la salle d'attente
I
avec
say.
leurs bagages, s'il vous plaît.
I say,
Messieurs les voyageurs sont priés de se rendre dans la
spin that rug, Ronnie. Here, hold her head. See you don't drop her.
I'll take care of her, sir. We'll be all right, won't we?
Here, put this on her head, poor baby.
Thank you, madam. Either that blighter will pay some attention to me, or I'll report the entire matter to the management.
Is she bad?
No. Are you more comfortable now, my baby?
Yes, thank you.
Monsieur, je ne peux pas rester ici toute la vie. Être un militaire. J'en sais rien, mon capitaine, impossible de moi de vous dire quoi que ce soit.
Look here, my good fellow. Twice I have asked you a civil question, and now I demand a civil answer.
Qu'est-ce que vous voulez, monsieur?
I want to know what time the next train leaves for Paris.
For Paris? There is no more train to Paris, monsieur. No more trains to the north at all.
But I hold tickets.
Monsieur, do you not understand? The Germans have crossed the Marne. Nobody knows what next or where. The whole front is breaking. Maybe the train will never run again.
Never. But I have two small children.
At your age, monsieur, that is undoubtedly magnificent. But if this is a contest, I have 9. Messieurs les voyageurs, s'il vous plaît, rendez-vous dans la salle d'attente avec vos bagages. Messieurs les voyageurs, s'il vous plaît, rendez-vous.
Would you like Rose to sing the song again, Sheila? Ma grand-tante demeure à Tours, dans une maison avec un cerisier, avec une petite souris, quink, quink, et un gros lion, et un coucou, 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 et un grand chamois, wouf, wouf.
Et un petit mouton blanc. Là, ça va déjà mieux.
Le lapin veut de la salade. Il a faim. Mr. Howard. There's a bus outside. To Sharp.
Sharp? Why sharp?
Well, there's a train there to Saint-Malo. It's just the guy told me.
Catch it by all means. Oh, that's very good news indeed. Once we get to Saint-Malo, here, give me my picture, Ron. Sheila?
I'm all right now, Mr. Howard. I can walk.
Why, splendid! We'll make it yet.
Tante Hélène.
Au revoir, mon chéri. Embrasse ton papa pour moi.
Au revoir, ma tante. Viens vite, dépêche-toi.
Au revoir, chéri.
Bit of luck catching this bus. In you go. Once we get to Chartres, everything will be quite all right. I must say, Ronnie, this was very clever of you. Very clever indeed.
Thank you, sir.
I expect that if you could only break yourself of a certain insufferable pig-headedness, you might... Where's your mother?
That wasn't her mother, that was her aunt.
Well then, where's her aunt? Good heavens, did we leave her behind? What is this? Why are you goggling at each other like that?
Dans le papier.
It's a very funny business here.
That's her father. He's a waiter.
Well, what possible interest could his address... So that's it.
But they hadn't any home. The Germans burnt it down. They hadn't any place to go, don't you see?
Come one, come all, eh?
Oh, please, Mr. Howard, I didn't mean it that way. I told Madame she should speak to you, but she was so scared.
Open the floodgates, let them all in, eh?
You wouldn't want them to be caught by the Germans, would you, sir?
That's not the point, sir.
I like her. You see, sir? She can take care of Sheila and I can take care of her. Then you won't have the bother.
All very neatly arranged, eh? Possibly I have something to say on the subject. Can I make it clear? You understand, my child, I have nothing whatever against you personally. It's simply that I do not propose to be imposed upon.
She doesn't understand what you're saying, you know.
Well, then perhaps you will. Not to keep you in the dark about it, I do not like children, particularly you.
Yes, sir.
Nor do I propose to become the Mecca for every unfortunate child in France.
Yes, sir.
When we get the shot, I shall turn her over to the authorities. Leave it to them to get her back to her aunt.
Yes, sir.
That's the only intelligent way to deal with such situations. There's no use crying. Tears are lost on them. Eat your chocolate. What's the name of that hotel?
The Dickens Hotel, sir.
Never heard of it in my life.
On vient de crever à pneu. Il faut descendre. À ma droite.
What now? Where are you going?
It's a blowout. We've got to get out until it's fixed.
Splendid. At this rate, we'll be lucky if we reach England by Friday.
Look, there's a river. Let's go down. Will you paddle, Mr. Howard, without shoes or stockings?
I suppose so. Looks like clean water.
Will we paddle while we eat, Mr. Howard?
If you wish. Could have got some fresh milk, I suppose.
Oh, I don't like milk.
Neither do I, but it puts calcium in the teeth, I believe, some such rot. Or is that spinach?
Oh, spinach. Oh, I don't like spinach either.
Of course not. Oh, all that muck. Calcium, spinach, vitamin this, vitamin that. Pure nonsense.
Children, now here. Where?
Sit down. Eat your lunch.
They're coming down.
No, they can't. That's impossible. I'm sorry, I fell.
They were shooting at us.
Well, not at us in particular. Now. This is all quite over.
I wasn't scared, was I? Was I?
No, nobody was scared. Rose simply didn't like the noise. Now, you wait here. I'll run up and see if I can't find our bags.
Dead. Dead people.
Well, it's not exactly the Savoy. Choice, apparently. Perhaps you'd better close the door. Blackout, you know.
Yes, sir. Ooh, survive our reserve.
Are you with us now?
He can't talk.
Who is he?
His name is Pierre.
How did you learn that?
He told us.
But he can't talk.
No, sir.
But he told you.
Yes, sir. May I speak to you privately, sir?
By all means.
He was in the bus. Didn't you see him?
No.
The dead people were his mother and father.
I see.
He can't speak, and I don't think he can hear either.
Come here, lad. You and Rose over there. Ronnie, you and Pierre here. You better help him take off his shoes and stockings. Nothing else. Any of you.
Il est très gentil, tu sais. Oui, très gentil. Oui, voilà. La couverture. Je suis là. The other night, out in Rochester.
No, it's quite all right. Doesn't matter in the least.
I was wrong, you know.
Oh, no, not all. I may very well have been wrong myself. So many of those American states, Kansas, what's that Indian state?
Massachusetts?
Massachusetts, that's it. Seems very likely there might be another named Rochester. No reason why not, you know.
None whatever, sir. I remember it very well now.
You do?
Oh, yes, indeed, sir. A very important industrial state.
Well, not such an old fuddy-duddy after all, eh?
I should say not, sir.
My memory may have gone a bit ragged here and there, but when it comes to geography, you'll generally find I'm still pretty good.
Oh, I can see that, sir.
Decent of you to acknowledge it, too.
Thank you, sir.
Good night, my boy.
Good night, sir.
Now. Children. Now, Sheila, you and Rose and Pierre remain here with the perambulator. And you take care of this. And be very careful with it. You, my boy, you have a good head on your shoulders. I want you with me. And speak to no one, understand?
Yes, sir.
Particularly to any of the children.
Oh, no, sir.
I used to know some people here in Chartres. They might be able to help us. Here. Ask her where this is.
Madame, savez-vous où est la rue de Paris, s'il vous plaît? Numéro 17.
La rue de Paris, numéro 17?
Oui, madame.
Oh oui.
As soon as I get my breath. How is he?
He scratched his face.
All right, now. Easy does it. We're in a very unpleasant situation here. Let's not get the wind up.
Certainly not, sir.
First, no more English, you understand? If any of us is heard speaking English, well, we'd be really for it. You understand that, don't you?
Oh, yes, sir.
Sheila?
Oui, monsieur.
That's it.
Mais vous, monsieur?
Oh, no, not to me.
What are you going to do, sir?
Well, I'll tell you. I suggest we play a little game. I shall be, or rather I shall pretend to be, very old and stone deaf. Can't hear a blasted word spoken to me, eh?
A little crazy, too?
Crazy?
Just a touch, sir.
Might not be a bad idea at that. A mouth open sort of thing, you mean? Might be very good indeed. I might even babble a bit, eh?
Oh, I wouldn't, sir. Might be a little too much.
Oh, we're doing it, eh? Stop that! This is serious business. Very serious business. You remember that address?
Oh, yes, sir.
Come on. How do I look?
Awful, sir.
Good. Sit down.
Monsieur Howard.
You remember me, mademoiselle?
Naturally, monsieur. Come in, please.
Well, I'm not alone.
Oh, come in, and the little ones, too. Maman, you remember Monsieur Howard last summer at Saint-Maurice?
Yes, but please to speak English. Close the door and come inside. To speak English today is not safe. Not safe for anyone.
I know, madame. And I have no wish...
No, please. We must be careful, that is all. Our friends are still our friends, regardless.
That's very kind of you, madame. Holiday friendships are not always remembered so warmly, or even deserved to be.
In this case, monsieur, we did not wish to forget. But, monsieur, you didn't have these last summer.
Madame, some of these I did not have 24 hours ago. The simplest explanation would be to say that I seem to accumulate them. But allow me. Madame Rougeron, Mademoiselle Nicole Rougeron, this is Ronald, fine lad. This is his sister, Sheila. This is Rose. This is Pierre. And this is... We seem to have a new one. When did he join us?
Well, he's been with us on and off since yesterday.
You mean you don't know who he is?
No, but on this trip that doesn't seem to be necessary. Where did you spring from, my boy?
Ik kan het verstaan, meneer.
Oh, why, that's Dutch.
His name is Willem. Not William. Willem.
How do you know that?
He told us.
Listen to this. Do you speak Dutch?
Oh, no, sir.
Do you understand Dutch?
No, sir.
But he told you.
Yes, sir.
Then in what language did he tell you?
In no language, sir. He just told us.
I suppose there must be some normal explanation for this system of Lilliputian communication. But under the circumstances, I dare say it doesn't matter. Come on, boy. We'll do what we can for you.
Of course we will, the poor little ones. I wonder if they'd like something to eat.
Oh, yes. Oh, all right, come on. Venez, petit enfant.
I'm occasionally seized with the conviction that I am convoying guinea pigs.
You understand, monsieur, that you are in great danger here.
I know. And I promise I shan't involve you and your mother. Just a few minutes. When I've rested a bit, we'll be on our way. I was hoping to see Colonel Roger.
We have not heard from my father for several months. At that time, he was with his regiment before Metz.
You have my sympathy, mademoiselle. I, too, have suffered a loss. You remember my son, John, of course.
Of course.
I regret to inform you that he's dead. He was the RAF, you know. Shot down over Helgoland 2 months ago. Gave a very decent account of himself, I understand, before they got him. Took 3 to get him, too. What do you mean?
Here, put this on. You look too English.
I don't understand this.
Later, please. The Germans are going through the houses. Hurry, please.
What are these shrouds, may I ask?
They're school aprons, so we'll all look French.
And these. And you will have to be foolish again, remember.
Foolish?
Crazy.
Ah, necessary, I suppose.
Voilà.
Qui est là?
C'est la militaire police. Ouvrez tout de suite. Nous sommes informés, madame, qu'il y a encore des Anglais dans la ville. Qui est donc ici dans cette maison?
Des Anglais chez moi? Mais monsieur, j'habite toute seule ici.
Ce nous allons voir. Touche-nous.
Non, monsieur, mais vous ne pouvez pas rentrer ici chez moi.
Hey, pédale! Allons.
Vous voyez, je ne vous mentais pas.
Je suis dans, s'il vous plaît.
Non, rien non, s'il vous plaît.
Combien?
C'est très simple.
Quelle est la raison de votre voyage, madame?
Parce que nous habitions Landerneau, monsieur. Et nous rentrons chez nous parce que mon grand-père est trop vieux pour voyager en ce moment.
Qu'est-ce qu'il pour là? Des cannes à pêche?
Toi qui vas pêcher.
Ça va. Voilà, mademoiselle.
May I ask now where we're bound for?
the channel, monsieur. The Britannic coast. There is someone there that I know who might help us.
Was this necessary for you, this long, this not very safe trip?
Even if someone else could have done it, monsieur, I would not permit it. It is a thing I must do myself. Myself alone. Nobody else.
I itch, mademoiselle.
No, chérie, no.
But I do. I itch terribly.
It was just a year ago, that month at St. Moritz. But a long year, and a sad one.
It's all quite hard to realize. Every now and then I find myself drifting off into a feeling that it's all a dream. A monstrous dream. Still just a dream. Presently we'll wake up, then he'll come in. We'll sit and talk together again.
I know.
It took 3 to bring him down, you know.
Softly, please.
You remember him kindly, don't you?
Him, his letters, our only visit together in Paris.
You saw him in Paris?
Once, just once. That was just before the invasion. We had a beautiful 3 days.
I had no idea of that.
Told nobody. In time we would have, I suppose. We planned to anyway. And then he went back. And then you wait and wait. Day after day, day after day. You wait for a letter. And then it comes. But it's not from him. It's from his squadron. But it's not from him. So for a long time you don't open it. You sit and hold it in your hand, wishing you need never open it, because you know that a letter from his squadron, from a friend, can have but one news to tell. And then at last, you do open it.
My dear child.
And then, after that, your whole world is darker than it was before.
Just a few more steps now. Now look, monsieur. The channel.
But I must say, I hope we have better luck with it than that German fella.
And down there is the house of my uncle.
C'est tout, Marie.
Yes, monsieur.
And now, what do you propose?
You have fishing boats. You know young men, daring young men. Can't you find someone who would take Mr. Howard and the children across the channel?
I'm quite prepared to pay, you understand?
And what is the price of a man's life?
But, Uncle, these are little children. They must not be left here. They simply must not. Our country is no longer a place for children.
Our country is no longer our country. And these are no longer Frenchmen. Nicole, you don't know. You haven't begun to learn what it means to live under the Boche. How do I know I can trust him? How do you know you can trust him? How do I know this is not a trap?
But, Uncle, I know him. I know him very well.
How do I know I can trust you?
Moi? Voyons.
But how do you know you can trust me? This is dangerous business. An Englishman in my house, it could mean my death.
How do you know that I will not report him to save myself?
I refuse even to think of such things.
But under the bush, child, this is what happens. This is the poison that runs through the mind. Our friends, are they still our friends? Our family, our own family, are they still true? Or have they said to themselves, this is no time for sentimentality. We must save our own skins.
As I have said before, I have no wish to involve anyone else in my own personal problems. I shall, of course, leave this house.
No, please. Let me sleep on it, monsieur. Perhaps tomorrow. It is red. Undressed. Come outside. What is the harbor? They are after the ships.
By those filthy...
No, monsieur, it is a British raid. Those are British planes.
British?
Yes, that is it. They are after Hitler. That was the report in Brest today, that he was there inspecting the invasion fleet.
Well...
What do you think, Mr. Howard?
Those are British planes. The RAF.
The RAF? The RAF! The RAF! That's a here Dudley! The RAF!
Never look at this thing, by George. Bang! Did you see that one? Maybe that one got him, eh? Bang! Oh, that's right, boys. Drop another one. Here again. Bang! Oh, by George, that's the greatest thing I ever saw in my life. Jolly good, eh? Huh? Oh, jolly good. Oh, boy. Jolly good. Oh.
Well, I have found the man and made all the arrangements. His name is Fouquet. His boat is at a fishing village about 10 kilometers from here. As soon as it gets dark tonight.
That's a good girl. Listen to me, Sheila. Ronnie. Tonight, we go right in among the Germans. It will be very dangerous. Compris? So we must be especially careful. You must be quiet. You must do whatever Monsieur Howard and I tell you, quickly. And above all, you must not speak one word of English. You understand?
Oui, Nicole. Oui, mademoiselle.
Monsieur. Pour vous?
On my corns, I'd rather be captured. Huh? Are we ready?
Yes. Well, goodbye, Monsieur Howard, and God bless you.
Goodbye, son. Thank you very much. Well? No, wait. My rods.
Oh. Here, sir.
Good, that's it. Carry on, horse.
Au revoir.
Tell me again. What's that signal? That drink he's going to order?
Pernod des Anges.
Pernod des Anges.
There is no such thing, you understand. It's just a signal. But you leave it all to me.
But it's mine. I saw it first. You can't have it. C'est moi qui l'ai vu la première. Je te dis, c'est mon chez moi. You did not. I saw it from the car.
Sheila, montez, chérie, je t'en prie.
Mais c'est moi qui l'ai vu la première, mademoiselle.
Vous voulez du lait pour chat?
Oh, oui, c'est
Un pot de lait pour chat. Et pour nous, demi-blonde. Un bol de lait? Deux demi-blondes.
Demi-blonde. Is anyone here?
I don't think so. I was afraid that soldier.
Piano des Anges.
Alors, comment ça va?
Ah, bah, pas beau, hein?
Qu'est-ce que tu prends?
Un Pernod des Anges.
Un Pernod des Anges?
Oui, un Pernod des Anges, figure-toi. Je veux un Pernod des Anges.
Dis donc, t'es pas cinglé? J'ai jamais entendu parler de ça, moi.
C'est un peu fort de café, alors t'as jamais entendu parler de ça?
Non.
Ah, c'est marrant, là, j'ai jamais entendu parler de ça. Alors, mais moi non plus, mon vieux.
Monsieur Fouquet.
Mais c'est Nicole! Ah, j'ai la petite Nicole! Oh, mais qu'est-ce que tu fais ici?
Oh, je suis une balade. Vous prenez quelque chose avec nous?
Oh, mais tu parles! Il faudra changer de métier. Mais ta sœur, toi, Olivier.
Mon grand-père.
Ah, bonjour, grand-père.
Si vous parlez anglais, Monsieur Ward ne comprend pas le français.
Yes. All is all right. You have the boat. Yes. The boat, it is by the bottom of the lighthouse. You understand? Yes. From the outside of the cafe, you will see the lighthouse to the right. You understand?
When do we start?
I'm not together, but when I have departed. You understand? I understand. The sooner, the better. Now I will go.
Ah, ta santé, Nicole. Allez, ça fait du bien, ça. Allez, au revoir, Nicole. Au revoir, mes petits oignons. Au revoir, grand-père. Ouais. Vas-y, hey, tu me la copieras, hein?
Ah, toi, ton Piano des Anges.
Hey, là, hey.
Allez, passe la main.
Est-ce qu'on peut emporter le petit chat?
Oui, oui, dis-toi.
Pardon, mademoiselle.
On l'appelle la Jojo. C'est ça, Jojo.
Tout va bien? Alors, montrez les enfants.
Won't you come with us to England?
No, monsieur. I'm not English. I'm French. And you have told me yourself, remember, that in time of trouble, one should be in one's own country to do what one can do well. This is where I belong. Here.
But afterward.
Oh, afterward I shall come.
Sie da unten! Sie! You English? Yes, yes, you.
I am. She is not. She's French.
All right. That way. Go. All right, Olaf, come on. Come on. Never mind, go. Come on, Olaf, come on.
Ça me fait pas peur, ta sale gueule de boche. Oh!
Dankeschön, meine Kleine. Come in, please.
Very touching. Very ingenious. My congratulations. You know, of course, that Charrington has been arrested.
I haven't the foggiest idea what you're talking about.
No, have you ever heard of Major Cochrane, I suppose? Of Room 212, Army Intelligence, in the War Office in Whitehall?
No.
Your memory obviously needs freshening.
Monsieur.
Later, mademoiselle. An English gentleman traveling across France with 5 children, anxious only to get back home. A pretty and most disarming device.
It happens to be the truth.
English truth. We must do better than that. Such a story wouldn't deceive a child. What were you doing in France in the first place?
Fishing.
What sort of fish? Quickly.
Blue trout. Sometimes you get a grayling, but not often.
Tackle, quickly.
Aren't you being a trifle silly?
Answer me, what tackle?
Well, you need a 9-foot cast, but the stream is usually very strong, so 3X is fine enough. It's all wet fishing, you understand.
Flies?
Well, a dark olive gets me as well as anything, or a large blue dun, although personally I detest it. I got 1 or 2 on a thing called a jungle cock.
Wird später nachgeprüft. Who are these children? Where did you get them?
The 2 English children belong to friends of mine.
And the others? Friends too, I suppose.
The others I know little about, except they were lost and unhappy. Didn't occur to me to demand further credentials.
You insist on that absurd story.
You asked for the truth, didn't you?
Yes, and I shall get it. Before I'm finished with you, Mr. Englishman, you shall be talking very freely indeed, I promise you. And your memory shall be much better. Perhaps we shall invite Mademoiselle to be present during that process. And the little children also.
If your intention is to frighten me, you're wasting your breath.
I'm simply trying to point out to you how futile it is to assume these poses. You are no longer dealing with children, you see. We know who sent the information to the English of the Führer's visit with the fleet at Brest. We know who caused that raid. It was you and Charrington.
I?
What we do not know, and you shall tell us, is how that message was passed through to London, to that Major Cochrane whom you don't know. That's what you are going to tell us, Mr. Englishman. And as soon as it is told, the pain will stop. Not before. Take them away. To Villemayor.
I say, did they get him?
Get home.
Hitler.
Of course not.
That's too bad.
Do you think they're going to shoot us, Mr. Howard?
Of course not. I really can't believe they'll do anything for the children. Anything serious, that is. My greatest regret, that it's difficult to find adequate words. You and this young man. I can't tell you how sorry I am to have got you into this.
Please, do not feel that. For myself, it was my own idea.
It was bad luck, that is all.
I shall make what arrangements I can to pay you anyway, you understand?
If you can, this is good. But I would be going to England just the same. I would join de Gaulle.
De Gaulle? Who's de Gaulle?
De Gaulle, monsieur. He's one who was neither a traitor nor a coward. He's the true France.
I'm afraid I've never heard of him.
You will, monsieur.
Will you come here, dear? That's the name and address of my solicitors in London. Perhaps you'd better memorize it in case they take it from you. Okay.
Yes, monsieur.
Will you be good enough to sign here?
What is it?
My will.
Oh, monsieur, they won't go that far. I know they won't.
My daughter is very well situated. Married to an American businessman. Quite comfortably off. There's nobody else now. So I don't see how I could do better than leave what I have to you. To do what you can for these children. War can't last forever, you know. Bound to end someday.
I will not think about things like that.
Stupid to get them this far, then drop the whole matter. It's good for you too, Fouquet.
No, this is not necessary.
Well, I hope not. But I read what they do in concentration camps, you know. And I have no idea how much of that sort of thing I should be able to stand. I'd hate to give them the satisfaction of complaining. Perhaps I shan't be able to help myself. If only I could figure out what they want me to confess. By George, I'd confess. Try to come to some kind of an arrangement with that blighter. I might sound him out at that.
You.
Some more discussions, I imagine. Behave yourselves. I'll be back shortly.
Come here. Look out. Very pleasant garden, isn't it?
Very?
That is where your friend, Mr. Charon, is going to die. In just a few minutes. Unless you decide to help him.
I know nothing whatever of his work or of how he went about it. Or if I did, would I tell you?
He would live. You would live if you were sensible. He'd remain a prisoner, of course. But the war will be over in 6 months. And then he'd be free.
I have nothing whatever to tell you.
Look, they are bringing him out. It's a very little thing that I ask. That won't injure either of you. Nor will it make any difference to the war. Because in any case, your country is already doomed. If you tell me now how he got the information out of France and back to England, to your Major Cochrane, I'll stop the execution.
I have told you truthfully, I do not know.
You haven't much time. A minute or two, no more. Think about it again.
If you are so utterly stupid that you can't realize I'm telling the truth, well, it's useless to continue to talk to you.
Well, as you wish. Abdallah, stop! Abdallah, leg out! Wait, Mr. Englishman. Does it frighten you so much? Seal! Fire! You puzzle me, really. If you are a spy, at least you are a very clever one. What did you intend to do with the children? These children, what did you plan to do with them?
I don't know. I hadn't thought. Send them to America, I suppose.
America? Why America?
Well, I believe they'll be safer there.
And who would have paid for this migration, if I may ask?
I would, of course.
And in America, what would they do? Starve?
I don't think so. I have a married daughter who lives in a district called Long Island. She would have made a home for them until the war was over.
You are seriously asking me to believe that the woman in America would make a home In her own house for all these dirty little children that you have picked up?
I'm no longer interested in what you believe. That is what I would have done.
And Mademoiselle, are you going to send her to America too?
I would like her to go there, but she refuses to leave here. She has a mother in charge, and she planned to return there. You certainly don't think that she's a spy too, do you?
She was aiding you, obviously.
Listen, I will confess to anything you wish, if only you will let them go. Let the young man Fouquet sail with them for Plymouth in his boat. And let Mademoiselle Rougeron return to her home. I give you my word that she's entirely innocent of anything more than an effort to get these children to safety. If you will do that, I will confess to whatever you say.
I simply don't know what to make of you. I can only say you must be a very brave man to make such an offer.
Not brave, just old.
Abführen.
Prenez place, s'il vous plaît. Déjeuner pour vous.
What did he say?
He said it's for us. For us? For us?
But why?
Who cares?
That's right, who cares?
I don't like it. Kann hier Platz nehmen? Die Stühle sind für Sie. This is better than home.
Wonder what this means.
I don't know. Well, I had a faint hope he was going to let you and the children go. This, I don't understand at all.
It's something you want, but what?
Butteriness, eh?
Come with me, please.
Now we get the bill. Don't worry. I promise you, I shan't lose my temper again.
You be seated.
Thank you.
That's all. Leave us. Leave us. It'll be quite safe.
You have little to fear from me.
Perhaps not. But you have much to fear from me. I do not believe one word of your story about these children.
I will say anything you wish if only you will let them go.
But how can you be so certain that your daughter's husband would welcome these vagabond children into his fine home? He's an American. Why should he concern himself with half a dozen European children?
I can only assure you that I have no doubts about it at all.
And what about the Jewish child?
Jewish? Which Jewish child?
The dark one.
Is he Jewish? He's French. Didn't occur to me to ask if he were also Jewish.
But in America, would they accept a Jewish child?
I don't believe they'd turn down any child. Even a German.
Even a German?
That's what I said.
Are you positive of that?
Well, we English have already sent them thousands of our own children. They've never made any conditions that I know of as to color, race, or religion.
Mr. Howard, how would you like to continue your trip to England?
Not without the children.
If I were to let you go to England with the children so that they could be sent to America, would you be grateful enough to do me a small service?
Well, that would depend upon what it was.
There is a certain person to be taken to America. I do not want to advertise her journey. It would be very suitable that she should travel with your party of children.
If you think for 1 second that I would even consider a proposal to introduce a German agent into England or America under cover of myself and these children, well, you're an even greater fool than I had heretofore thought you were.
Quiet, please. She can hardly act as an agent, since she's a child of 7.
A child?
Now listen carefully. Please. This little girl is my niece. Her father, my younger brother, is dead. He was killed in Belgium. Her mother, we learned later, was not fully Aryan, so we were compelled to dispose of her. But the unfortunate problem of the child remains. Half Aryan, half Jewish. She happens to be a very sweet child. And I would feel much better if she were with my older brother, who went to the United States after the last war. He's an American citizen.
She would be safer, you mean?
If you wish. His name, my older brother's name is Rupert. Rupert Deason. He now has his business, but they would call grocery in a city named Rochester in New York State. His address?
City?
The city of Rochester. Rochester, New York. His address?
Are you positive?
Of course I'm positive. What are you talking about? Haven't you ever heard of it?
Yes. Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, certainly. I've heard of it.
His address is 600 North 3rd Street.
City.
How quickly would they leave for America?
City. I dare say I could get them off in a matter of 2 or 3 weeks.
It must not be longer than that. We are occupying England in August, and it would be better if she were away by then. Meanwhile, Mademoiselle Rougeron would return to her home in Chartres. But until I heard from my brother that the child was safe in his home, he would keep an eye on her.
You mean she would be a hostage?
Precisely.
But no harm would come to her?
Not unless you were foolish enough to tell anyone of this arrangement.
Very well. I shall be glad to take the child, see that she's delivered to her uncle.
Good. What is your address in London? I'll send for you when we arrive.
42 Curzon Street. Yours, I assume, will be the Tower of London.
You will be prepared to leave tonight.
I suppose I should thank you, but I would like you to know one thing. No conditions were necessary to persuade me to deliver a child out of your hands. It never entered my head to refuse to take her.
That's good. If you had made any other decision, I would have been compelled to kill you at once. You would have known too much to leave this room alive. Auf Wiedersehen. Pas un mot.
Das ist der Howard. Er will dich zum Onkel Rupert nach Amerika bringen.
How do you do, Anna?
Heil Hitler! Stop it immediately.
Hadn't you better explain to her that from now on, that salute will be rather out of place?
Von nun an brauchst du nicht mehr Heil Hitler zu sagen. Du kommst unter Leute, die das nicht verstehen.
Nicht mehr Heil Hitler?
Nein, nicht mehr Heil Hitler.
Good.
Now get aboard. I want to see you get away. Don't start your engine until you're 3 miles out.
Oh, yes, I understand.
All this I know you've done for my boy, and for him I thank you.
Some for him, but not all. Some for you, too. Once I thought there could never be another man as fine and brave as your son. But I was wrong. But it wasn't for you either. It was for them. Somehow they seem to represent hope. Hope for the future. You're the past, I'm the present. But they are the future. And we must take very good care of them.
I haven't all night. Please.
Au revoir, my dear. You come and see me when it's over, and we'll talk about John.
There's one more thing, Mr. Englishman. There must be no trickery. If one word of this appears, it'll be the concentration camp for your young lady. Remember that.
And if anything happens to my young lady, and I hear of it, this whole story will be in the papers and on the shortwave radio, mentioning you by name. And you remember that.
You dare threaten me?
You dared threaten me, didn't you?
Go.
Au revoir. Good luck.
Auf Wiedersehen, little Anna.
and see if you can get some sleep.
Do we have to take off our clothes tonight?
No, you may sleep with them on tonight. Good night.
Good night.
Anna. Good night, little Anna. We're all friends now.
Good night, Herr Howard.
Good night. Ronnie.
Yes?
There's a little matter I think I ought to clear up with you. You remember our little discussion regarding Rochester?
Oh, yes, sir, but I told you.
I know. But it seems we were both wrong.
Really, sir?
And we told you over the fellow the other night. Told you all about it. State at all. It's a city. The city in the state of New York.
Well, now, isn't that odd, sir, that we both should have made that same mistake?
You're a very good boy, Ronnie. I apologize to you.
Thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Evening, Peters.
Welcome back, sir. We've missed you.
Thank you. Very good of you, I'm sure.
Been away?
France.
France?
Fishing.
Odd time to go fishing in France, wasn't it?
Why? You let it, Dave.
That one was pretty close. What do you suppose we ought to do?
Yes, sir. But I'm going to have a glass of port.
Have much difficulty getting back?
No. Not too much.